Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Commodity TV here in Zurich for the Zurich Invest night from Zurich Invest today. And we want to get now a short update of Matador Mining, and Sam Pazuki, the CEO, is here with us. Sam, great to see you.
Lovely to see you too, Jochen. Great to be here in Zurich again.
Yeah. Always a pleasure to see you. And
Yes.
we spoke, I think, the last time in November last year.
That's right.
So maybe time for a short update because there was the winter season now.
That's right.
And I think you guys have been pretty active.
We've been very active. It's been a very busy stretch. You would think with the end of the year that we would have slowed down, but we just continued to speed up. We came off a successful capital raise, which was oversubscribed. We were successful in bringing in new institutional shareholders into the register. So we have a fantastic shareholder register with a lot of support, both institution, corporate. B2Gold still owns the stock and is very supportive. And then we've got the retail following as well. So it's really set us up well to get to the point where we are doing exploration activities in the wintertime. So we successfully started and are continuing through an RC drill winter program in Newfoundland. So we're testing some of our top high priority targets. Mainly one that we've called O2. The reference for O2 is that it's been compared to Obuasi, which is a 60 million ounce deposit. So we've just appropriately named it O2, hoping that it becomes the next Obuasi or Obuasi-like deposit.
That would be fantastic. Maybe not 60 million, but 6 million would be great already.
Yeah, absolutely.
Definitely. Okay. So far, what is your impression of the drill program? Have you seen some core already or released any results?
Yeah, so results are coming in the near term.
Okay.
So we drilled about 160 holes. These are shallow holes. So we're using a technique that is proven to be effective in Australia. It's a tool that Rupert Resources use to discover acreage. So it's actually led to a number of major discoveries globally over the last couple decades. So we're using it in Newfoundland. We're the only one doing this type of drilling in Newfoundland. I dare say even in Canada. It's not a widely used approach. So the program, we drill about 160 holes. Visually, we are seeing...
To what depths approximately?
It depends. It's basal till and bottom of hole. That's what we're taking. So it depends on how much overburden there is. So on average, it's about 3 to 5 meters. So it's not that deep, but there are some holes that we've taken down 40 meters. So there are some deeper holes. The point of doing this is you're drilling a bunch of holes along lines, and what you're looking for are indications that there could be a major gold system underneath it. That's an important first step before you go in with the diamond drilling. A lot of companies go in with the diamond drill and they'll do, say, 10,000, 15,000 meter drill programs, and they have nothing to show for it because they were basically drilling blindly. We've got a lot of cover, so we need to make sure we're vectoring in on where the gold might be pooled and deposited. And this is a technique, again, that's proven very effective in Western Australia. It's led to discoveries like Sunrise Dam, Gruyere, Hemi, and then, as I mentioned, closer to here is Ikari with Rupert Resources. So it's not deep drilling, but it's highly efficient, highly effective drilling that gives us...
so costly, maybe.
It's not that costly. The costly is diamond drilling. So you want to make sure you've done the ample work to work up your targets to then, when you made that decision to put a diamond drill hole, you're doing it with a higher conviction of success. So what I can tell you is we already have a few targets that we believe have been identified through this work. The first batch of assays were sent about 5 weeks ago. There's about 50 holes in that one. So we should be getting those results soon. Fingers crossed, we're getting some really good results.
That would be great.
And then the rest of it will be, it's already with the labs, and we should expect that in May at some point. But visually, we're seeing some very interesting things, and we're pretty excited about what that program has delivered.
Okay, super. Let's say the program is successful, everything looks good. Where would you concentrate on your land package? Because you have a district scale land package that is so large.
That's right.
And I mean, you cannot do the Swiss cheese thing on the whole thing, right? Because it's way too expensive.
That's right.
So where would you emphasize then more?
Yeah, I mean, it's a great thing to have this.
It's a luxury problem.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, it's a district scale. I mean, this is what every mid-tier should be looking for. I mean, B2 already saw that, and that's why they came in to invest in us. But we certainly have a lot of other eyeballs on the opportunity that we have. It's district scale, and that's a wonderful thing. You increase your chances of making discovery, but like you said, you could lose your focus. because you got so much ground to cover. This is why we changed the strategy somewhat, or tweaked it a little bit last year, in that we've got to build a pipeline of opportunities. So there is early stage work, and much of what we have is early stage. So it's a lower cost but high value work. So we've got a bunch of these activities on projects along the belt this year. So we're trying to push them into the next category, which is intermediate, which is your RC drilling, the one I just explained that we did at Malachite/O2. So you get it to that stage, and then from there you go diamond drilling. Most of our budget is allocated towards diamond drilling. We've got advanced targets that we've got a high conviction in terms of getting the results that we're looking for. And what we're looking for is a multi-million ounce deposit. We're not looking for small, we're looking for big. We're looking for something that's going to be a big mine one day. We're basically looking to replicate what Calibre has on the belt, a 5 million ounce deposit. That can't be the only one, right? They've got 5 million. Yeah. We've got 600,000 ounces at Cape Ray. There has to be another big deposit, right? It just makes logical sense, both from science and just your gut feel.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we're deploying capital to identify where these are, and but that's what we're looking for essentially.
Yeah, you raised the Calibre mining because that would be one of my next questions or thoughts, I would say, because I think it was a smart move to buy Marathon. And I think you guys are neighbors, let's call it like that. Wouldn't it be logic that there might be a combination somewhere in the future?
Right. I mean, again, what we have, I think, appeals to a lot of mid-tier producers, even to the larger companies. I think it's an appealing prospect that we have, we are basically. They are neighbors. They've actually staked ground right next to us.
Makes sense.
Only a few weeks ago. And if you look at if you consider Marathon/Calibre, they have only, in the last 10 years, they've only staked ground next to Valentine project. This is the first time in several years that they've actually staked ground outside of Valentine, and they've staked it right next to us. So they are technically our neighbors. They're a fantastic company. I've already had meetings with them. They're very switched on. They've built projects. They've got operating mines. They generate cash flow. They're very active when it comes to exploration. I don't know how many drills they have turning at Valentine, but they've put out a number of great results.
I think 4 or 5 drills.
There you go. To go with the 12 that they already had turning in Nicaragua and in Nevada. So yeah, they're fantastic for the project. They're great for Newfoundland, and they're great for companies like us that are looking to advance things in the province. So absolutely, I think Calibre should be watching us with interest. Their largest shareholder is also B2 Gold. And B2 Gold is obviously our largest shareholder. So there's a lot of connections there between us and Calibre and B2. But for us, we've got to be focused on what we're doing to get to that point. And then we can reassess where we go from there.
Absolutely. You said that you had the financing last year. So how much money is left? Are you done for this year? Is all fine?
Yeah, so we raised what ended up being $10 million Australian. So in an environment where it's been very challenging for junior companies to find funding, we actually oversubscribed on that financing. We brought in, we had very strong support from existing shareholders, so B2 Gold and a number of our institutional shareholders supported it. A number of our existing retail shareholders supported it. But we were also successful in bringing in 4 new institutional funds, one of which is a global fund with that asset manager that basically has just under $1 trillion of assets under management out of the UK. We would definitely be the smallest company in their portfolio, their gold portfolio, but they wrote one of the biggest checks. And then we've added a couple other institutions from Canada and then another one from Hong Kong. So 50% of our shareholder register is now owned by institutions and B2 Gold. So we're in a very strong spot here with very strong support from shareholders who understand exploration, who understand the risks associated with exploration, who are there for the long term, because we're trying to make decisions for the long term. Just because we're a junior doesn't mean we have to make short-term decisions. We don't want to do that. That's not why I came here. It's to make the long-term decisions so we can grow the long-term value. We're up 20% this year so far. Great.
Nice.
I mean, the only thing that hasn't cooperated for us is the share price, but we're all here to be up 1,000%. That's the long-term value that we're trying to create. We get lucky and it happens quicker, but it's a long-term opportunity.
Absolutely. Fantastic. Assume those 160 holes, those let's call it short holes, are successful. When will we see diamond drilling then?
Yeah, so our diamond drilling program would start probably beginning of June. So with the winter program, we were praying for snow because we needed snow to actually complete the work.
Easier,
absolutely. Yeah. It's the only time in my life that I've prayed for snow. So I'll put that on record as well. But now we need the snow to melt. So we need it to melt, and we need it to run off, and we need things to dry up. It could happen as early as mid-May, but realistically, and if we use last year as a benchmark, we'd be looking at beginning of June for the start of drilling. We've tweaked our plans a little bit where we're going to actually break it up into 2 phases. So we'll do some initial drilling in June, and then we'll stop. And then we've got a bunch of other early stage work that we're going to do with airborne geophysics at Hermitage, at Bunker Hill. And then we're going to go back to diamond drilling probably at the end of July into August.
Super.
That also gives us time to get assays back from the first phase of drilling. And if we've hit something that is of interest, then we'll keep going with that.
Definitely.
And that's the name of the game.
Yeah.
Like we can go and just blitz this area or different areas with a lot of drilling and then wait for assays to come back and then see that we just wasted shareholder capital, or we can do it in a sort of sequence prudent way. And we'll know, should we continue drilling or should we stop drilling? That way we can preserve shareholder capital and we can deploy it on what's going to deliver the highest return.
Fantastic. Sounds like a game plan, Sam.
Yes, we got our hands full, but we're all excited. We're all charged up to make big discoveries.
Fantastic. Let's do so, I would say. Thank you very much
absolutely.
for that. All the best.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Sam. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, there was Sam Patsuki, the CEO of Matador Mining, and you heard it. The company is operating in Newfoundland. The drills are turning, and by now it's RC, but 160 holes between 3 meters and 40 meters depth. And then they see exactly what is underneath the surface, I would say. And I think that's a great idea, not to waste already diamond drilling money. And then they really can go June, July with diamond drilling and go really targeted onto that. So I think this is a fantastic idea. And the company is in great shape. You heard it, fantastic shareholders. The company has money, super support from the market. Even last year, they raised over $10 million in such a bad market it was. And that shows you really, the sign of quality here and how this company is watched. And don't forget, B2 Gold is shareholder. B2 Gold is also shareholder of Caliber, and Caliber is now a direct neighbor. So let's see what is going on. And I have a feeling with Newfoundland, something big. Check out the company. Thanks for watching us, and bye-bye from Zurich. That was Commodity TV for Zurich Invest.